Hey guys, how are y'all living out there to all the kingdom builders? I am evolving, y'all. I'm trying to do something new. It is Testimony Tuesday, living life with Autumn. And we have a guest that I have met that I want to share with you guys that has an awesome testimony. And I know it's going to be a blessing to us. Yes, she has blessed my soul. I want to invite Gayla Culp into my little world here. And there she is, beautiful Gayla. Yes. I
Hello, hello.
say hello to the people, Gayla. Gayla.
Hi, Miss Autumn. Hi, everyone. How are you doing?
I met Gayla. My thing last month was to get out and connect and uh, get out in the streets and network with other people because I stay so busy and stay in my own little world. And the Holy Spirit, you need to get out and connect with people. And look what I got a hold to when I got out there and what I caught is this beautiful soul right here, Gayla Cole. And so I met Gayla at a meeting called Freedom Path. And you want to tell them a little bit about Freedom Path before we get into your testimony?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, first of all, I hope everyone is doing wonderful. And Autumn, it is an honor to be here with you tonight. Freedom Path is a wealth building, credit repair, business building, and business funding business. They really lean into the wealth building part. And I was able to join this group, or I was brought into the group by someone that I had just met, but I got into the business because I am also a real estate agent. I'll just say that real quick. So this fell in line with what I do. But the beauty of this whole thing is that because we're kingdom builders, we also want to add wealth building to our kingdom builders. And
Yes,
so I
that's right.
felt that it was so important to add to what I do to help with the community. So, it's a great there's so much more to this business, and we would take probably all of the 20-30 minutes that we
Right.
but yeah, so that was one of the reasons. It's really to help people who are in need of credit, those who are looking to buy homes, cars, and just have credit to get, access to things without having extra interest paid. And also, just like I said, the wealth building part. And this
Yeah.
fell along with what Autumn does as well.
Exactly. So it's a great collaboration, great networking opportunity. And you know my thing, if y'all know me, hey, it's enough out here for everybody. We can't reach everybody, and everybody don't want to listen to everybody. So, the bottom line is we want the kingdom to get the message and get the information and get the help, get the resources that they're needed. And then the other thing is that we just came back from tea time. We had our tea time travel trip, and she was just a shining star of the whole. Just a beautiful, beautiful star. We say she's an added jewel to our box. But
No.
without further ado, I brought her on about this is our testimony Tuesday. You would never know her story by looking at her and looking at how strong and how vivacious and vibrant and beautiful she is. So I had a few questions that I wanted to share, her to share with us and answer for us. Gayla told us that she is not going through breast cancer. So the first thing I wanted to, ask her to share with us is when did you find out that you was diagnosed with breast cancer?
So I got my diagnosis back in November of 2023. So just
Mm,
last year.
wow.
Yes.
Bye bye, babies. And so how did you find out?
So it's funny, it's strange. Well, I won't say it's strange. It just so happened to be during a time I was on my sabbatical. Like every year, right after my birthday, which is October 24th, I take a 2 week sabbatical. So it just so happened I was in my on my sabbatical when I had my breast exam scheduled. So I went in for just a regular mammogram, and the next day they called me and told me they found, a lump. And so I was like, okay, what does this mean? And they were like, well, we need you to come back in for a biopsy.
Wow.
And I was like, Oh God. So, I've heard women going through that when they go for a mammogram. And I heard, when they go back for the biopsy, sometimes it comes back benign. So I was
Mm-hmm.
surely this is going to come back benign because I haven't felt sick or anything. And
Wow.
so I did the biopsy, and a few days, I think it was later, they called me and they told me that it was actually breast cancer. So they wanted
Mm.
to immediately schedule me for an MRI, a PET scan, all of those things so they can find out how far along, what stage it was, and that's how that happened.
So, what was your, we go through so many emotions when trauma and trials hit our door, you know?
Right. Mhm.
And what was your initial response, of that news, especially by
Okay.
being a believer? We think as we as believers have this rock solid stance, but what was your initial response?
So my initial response, and this is honest to God true, is it was okay. I really just took some deep breaths and said, okay, Lord, I know there's a reason for this. And I say this, Autumn, because while I'm on my sabbatical, what I do on my sabbatical, I stay off of social media. I don't take phone calls. I'll take texts if it's
Mm-hmm.
urgent. But I am truly in consecration with God. I am in my closet. I'm praying. I'm meditating. So when you get news during a time that you feel like you're the closest with God, at least for
Yeah.
me,
Okay.
I didn't have what you would call, I don't think it was a normal reaction. At least my husband, he didn't understand it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I'll tell you another reason. So just earlier last year, my oldest sister was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. So when she told
Mm.
me that, I think it was around May when she
Mm-hmm.
called, told me, and my initial response to hers was, okay, sis, we're going to beat this. And I immediately started sending her like sea moss. And I just started sending her stuff that I was
Mm-hmm.
like, start taking this. So this was before my diagnosis. So when I got mine, it was like, okay, sis, we're in this together. And I really did not have that like initial shock because I
Mm.
do believe it was because of the fact that I was, in tune with God. And
Okay.
I've
Okay.
always prayed, my prayer has always been for God to use me. And I'm
Okay.
so glad that you brought me on for this because I get a lot of people asking me, how do you do it? And
Right.
they don't believe me when I say I really did not. Even one of my closest girlfriends, she was like, I know you've cried about this. I know you've had to ask why. I
Mm-hmm.
have not had that moment. The only moment, I will say the most emotional moment that I had with this diagnosis was having to tell my husband and my
Mm-hmm.
children
Yeah, I
because
was thinking about that. How's your family? Yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So my husband, um, because he lost his mom to breast cancer in
Mm.
2015,
Wow.
he was really a mama's boy. Like, he loved his
Mm-hmm.
mom.
Yeah.
So he was devastated. So for me, I knew this was going to be a difficult thing for him.
Mm.
So I was
Wow.
more concerned
About
about
him.
him and my children,
Mm.
them reacting and, like, oh my God. Because usually when people hear the C word, it's
Uh-huh.
like, that's a death sentence. That's a
Right.
death sentence.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I just never looked at it that way.
Praise
And it's
God.
also, it could be because I never felt sick. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Never
Yeah.
felt sick. Even when I elected to go ahead and do the chemo, which from the beginning I never really wanted to because I'm more of
Okay.
a girl, and I'll explain that later. You might have a question about that, but
Yes. Yes.
more of a natural girl. So I had a herbalist already. She lives in Florida that I use for my special needs daughter. And it
Mm-hmm.
could have something to do with the fact that I went through a lot with her. That's
Uh-huh.
made me strong and made me the way that I am to be able, I feel like God prepared me for this.
Yes.
So, so anyway, I never had that moment though. The only moment I had, like I said, was because of my family. But this
Mhm.
herbalist, like I said, she's from Nigeria. She's practiced herbs for probably 40 years now. I know when I first met her, when I used it for my daughter, she had been practicing for like 30 plus years. So I know it's been
Yeah.
40 plus now.
And that
And so,
was my question. And that
yes,
was my next question, is to ask you what has been your treatment of choice,
okay.
in this journey.
So,
Yes.
okay, so let me tell you. So, being that I was trying to appease my husband and my children, the
Hmm.
first one I did a chemo treatment, and I do, I have the scar here. I don't know if you can see it, because I had the
Okay.
port in. I had the port done so that I
Okay.
could start chemo, not wanting to, but I
Uh-huh.
did it for them, and I didn't tell my herbalist that I was going to do it. So I was trying to be in the middle, thinking I can do chemo and I'll keep doing my herbs. That's what I
Hmm.
thought. But
Okay.
then, right after my first chemo treatment, I texted my herbal lady and I said, Diane, I said, what happens if you do chemo while taking the herbs? And
Hmm.
she texted me back and said, Gayla, if you do the chemo, it's going to kill everything. And I was like, really? She's like, so if you're going to do chemo, there's no need to do the herbs because it's expensive. It can get expensive. And so I was like, oh my God. So at that point, I felt like that was a sign from God because I really didn't want to do it in the first place. And then when I did take that first initial chemo, the doctors, they kept saying you don't want to sleep in the same room with your husband and you don't need to be around people. And I'm like, how am I going to care for my daughter? I was just thinking of things like that. So I just prayed and I asked God again. He gave me that sign. And I told my husband, I said, I can't do any more chemo. And he was like, are you sure? And I said, I don't want to do any more chemo. I'm so sorry. And he was like, he supported me though. I thought I was going to get a fight from him, and he did not fight me on it. He
Oh,
absolutely,
goodness.
and I was grateful for that because I know it was really hitting him hard. And he's not the kind of person to really believe all the way. He wasn't sold on the idea of
Hmm.
natural. He's
Hmm.
just he was looking at me kind of side eye like, I'm gonna support you in this, but this is not my idea.
Uh-huh.
And that's what that was. So now I'm continuing to do natural herbs.
And you are so vibrant. I just want to tell everybody, you are just so vibrant, so full of life, so positive. She
All
also,
God,
yeah. And
all,
so what I get from it was definitely God, and God had prepared you, and you stood on the kingdom principle. I get to cry, when I
I
get to talk.
know you do. I'm
But
and I'm
but you stood on the kingdom principles, and that's what I push, 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 is that no matter what, stand on those kingdom principles. It doesn't matter what it looks like, what it feels like, what they say, whoever they are,
right,
but what God say? Whose
right.
report will you believe? Because God has the last say, you
That's
know,
right.
and I believe that testimony is so powerful. I grew up in the old church on testimonies. And
Yes, you
that's
did.
how I was able to meet God in a way I had never met him before, through somebody else's testimony.
Yeah,
You know, and I am a firm believer God is not a respecter of person. What he's done for one, he'll do for another.
that's right.
And so I want you to share with the people as we leave. I got juice in my eyes.
I know. You got me going now.
I want you to share with the people something that you would encourage, or you would tell them if they're going through a similar like journey.
This is what I would say. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you, Autumn, for having me on.
Yes.
And these are tears
Yes.
of, let
I
me tell
know, right?
these are tears of just being grateful right now that God allowed me to cross paths with you. Uh,
Hmm.
I don't find people that I feel are like, I won't say on my level, but it's more like minded. That's the word.
Hmm.
That's the word to
Yes.
use. And
Hmm.
you know, I pray for this. I pray for this day
Hmm.
that God will continue to. I've been asking Him to put me around like minded people because a lot of my so called friends that I had in the past have fallen off. And,
Hmm.
you know, it's crazy because a lot of people, because I'm vibrant and because I can, stand strong, people sometimes don't believe you're going through anything. And
Right.
one day I
Right.
told my, and I'm gonna say this, I know we have to go. My one day,
No, we're
my
good. Mhm,
one day
mhm.
I was talking to my husband. I was like, honey, maybe I should, stop combing my hair, stop dressing up and
Look
just
bad.
look the part, right? Look the part, because
Mm,
then people will know what I'm going through. And he was like, no, he's like, that's
mhm,
not what you're not supposed to do that. And I said, I know, but
mhm,
sometimes it makes you feel that way, you know,
mhm,
when people look at you and they really don't understand how you're
mhm.
to keep going and everything. Even when you tell them it's God, it's by the grace of God.
Yeah.
What I want to say to people, I just want to encourage everyone that either if you're going through something or if you have a loved one that is going through something, know your options. Like do your research. Like everything is not for everybody. What I'm doing is not for everybody because I lost my sister just in May, this past May, Memorial Day. And she wasn't the type of person that, would go and check her options. I tried to fight for her. I did try, and we all did, kids, and we tried, but she totally trusted the doctors, on what they said. And I know a lot of people out there do, but I am just encouraging you to, I'm not saying not to trust your doctor, but what I'm saying is do your own homework and your research. And I will use this parable. I'll say that just like the Bible says, study to show yourself approved.
Mm.
You have to do the same thing for your life, like for your health. You have to be the
That's
one.
good.
You
That's good.
understand what I'm saying? So you can go to
Mhm,
church every Sunday. You
mhm,
can go and listen to your pastor every Sunday. But if you are not studying to show yourself approved, you
mm.
know, you got a problem. So I'm
That's
saying,
good.
please, 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 please do this for me. I have said that I wanted to be an advocate for people because I don't mind speaking out. I don't mind helping people. And
Mm,
if you know me, you will know that that's who I am. I do not mind
mm,
speaking out for people, but I encourage you because a lot of people are not willing to do that. So if you need some help, if I'm available, if I can turn you to someone who's available, I will help. I do not mind helping because it's just important to me that we save our lives and our loved ones. If you can, I'll say you can if you do those things.
yes.
I do.
Whew, yeah, so that's a lot.
It's a
But
lot.
I just met you and you just became just connected to you and I'm just honored to know you and have you in my life. And
Right. Yeah.
no, right, we gotta get off here with all this crying. But but we want you to join her. She's on Facebook, Sisters.
And
What
health
is
and health.
it? I can't get it out. Can't get my words. Tell them, sisters, but tell them.
Sisters in health and wellness.
Yes,
Yeah.
and she is my inspiration. I'm gonna get this little mind right here in a minute, and definitely watching her. She's definitely my inspiration, like you say, to get this temple together. I know that's part of the kingdom too. Is making sure
Yes.
that our temple is fit for service, for active duty.
Yes.
And so you all check her out on there. She also has Wind Down Wednesday. Is that on Facebook as well?
Yes. That is
Or is
on
that a
Facebook.
private group?
No, it's Facebook Live only on the Sisters in Health and Wellness page.
Okay, okay.
And
So you guys check her out.
yeah,
Hmm.
thank
And
you.
her information will pop up there. It's Gayla Culp. That's her phone number. That's her Gmail. You guys reach out to her because she's definitely a blessing, and she's somebody you want to get to connect to. I appreciate you. I love you, my
I have
sister.
one more. Can I add one
Go
more
ahead.
thing?
Go right in. Go right in.
I just want to shout out to all of the queens
All
that went
right.
to the tea time
Yeah.
traveled out with
Yeah.
us. I want to say thank you to all of them for showing so much love and just, I mean, being the sisters that I needed. I feel like this trip actually helped heal me. That was my healing trip. I'm calling it.
Amen. Oh, that's powerful. Now you know
That's how, yeah,
that is
I
that's
believe that.
powerful. Yeah.
I believe
And
that.
we
So
had a
thank
blast.
you.
We had a great time.
We had a
Had a
great
great.
time. Thank you so much, Autumn. I love you. You are my sister for life now, so there's nothing you can do about it.
Okay. All right. I love you too. And I'll tell I'll talk to you later, So
Okay.
how about smooches? um, so you guys know my thing is always that God bless you, bless you, bless you. Yes. Keep on blessing you. Yes. Keep you real close. Because I'm telling you, there's a storm out on the ocean and it's moving this away. Yeah, it is. So you got to be sure that your anchor holds and grips a solid rock, and that rock is Jesus. And so I know it's not morning, it's night. So I want you guys to have a fabulous, peaceful rest. And I love y'all. See you next time.